All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So today we're going to be looking at two of the three type of markets in economy. All right. So um, it's going to be traditional and command. All right. So let's go ahead and look at the objectives. First, we're going to analyze how a traditional economy would work during bad times. Okay. Then we're going to examine the pros and cons of command economy, and then we're going to create an argument on which of the two is better, command or traditional. So here's your warm-up picture. So the first question asks you, of the three options on the warm-up picture, number one says to flee, which means to run away, just in case you don't know. Two, stand still and get swept out to sea. Again, look at the person with the little floaty thing, okay? Or option C, learn to surf. Okay, now as you can see, there's a big tidal wave coming in that says economy. So the first question is, which one of those three options sounds like the best one to you? Okay, which one of those three to you sounds like the best option? To run away, basically take it and be swept out to sea, or learn to surf. Okay, so go ahead, write your opinion. Uh, the second question asks you, um, of those same three options, to make a prediction, what do you think most people would do? Most people in our country, the world, things like that, um, what do you think they would more likely do? Would they run away? Would they just let it just sweep right over them, take them out to sea? Or do you think they would try to learn to surf? Those were the three options they had as well. What do you think most people would do? Okay, so pause the video, write down your response, okay, because we're going to be moving on in three, two, one. Now, last week we talked about what economy means to, or economics means to us, the people. Now we're going to look at it from the government type of standpoint. And in their definition, it would be an organized way to provide the wants and needs of the people. Okay, so there's traditionally three types. There is traditional, command, and market. We're going to look at the first two, which is traditional and command. Okay. Now, in class, usually I ask everyone, hey, what's a tradition? Give me a tradition. What is the definition of tradition? Since we are not in class and I can't hear your response, we'll just skip over that. Okay, so the traditional economy, it comes from rituals, habits, and or customs. So if you know the definition of tradition, you should have a good idea of what traditional economy is. Okay, um, so again, things that are habit, it's a ritual, things you do every year, consistently. You don't really change much. Okay, so basically also means not free to make decisions based on what they want or would like to have, and the roles are defined by the elders. Okay, because the older people, they know what's been done year after year after year after year because they've lived a long life, so they know what people with your family, or what you guys do every year, because again, or what's happened in the past in your families. When your great grandma and stuff like that, they would know because again, they lived it. So here's your first question. What's the traditional thing you or your family buys each year? So to help you out, I want you guys to think about like holidays, special occasions. Okay, so what's something you or your family buys each year? And think of things you buy around the same time each year. So think about holidays like Christmas, Halloween. Think of special occasions like, your birthdays, back to school, spring break, summer break, things like that. Is there something during those times that your family, buys each year? Okay, so think about it and put your response down. Okay, be sure you pause the video because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right, so like most things in life, there's good things and bad things about certain things. When it comes to traditional economy, here are the good things. Basically, everyone knows their roles. All right, so usually the jobs are passed down from father to son, mother to daughter, things like that. So if let's say your dad made shoes, and you're the son, you would learn how to make shoes. If your mom did created necklaces, let's say, you, the daughter, would then learn how to make necklaces. You guys would then know what to make, right? Because it's in your family, whether it's shoes or necklaces, and then you would know how to make it. Because again, your parents are the ones who are teaching you, whether it's your parents, grandparents, or whoever. Um, they know it, they are experts at it, so they then teach you, okay, how to do it step by step type of thing. Another thing too is that it dictates how people live their lives. So people know, like, hey, you know what? During this time of the year, I'm gonna sell a lot of shoes, but during this time, I'm not. So people kind of know I'm gonna be living this type of lifestyle. You know, I'm gonna be spending this much money, making this much money. So I'm gonna be right about here. People know they're not gonna be able to afford a a big house, things like that, because they know they'll never reach up that high. So they know, okay, I'm only gonna make this much. I'm gonna live this way, and basically try to be comfortable instead of trying to live large and things like that, where they know they can't. They're gonna be borrowing money and be in debt and can't pay it back. So avoid that, they know where their place is. Okay. So now here's the bad things about traditional economy. No new ideas. Okay. There's a way you do something, you stick to that. Okay. Anything new, it's like throwing a monkey wrench into a bunch of gears. It's going to ruin, just going to ruin it. And those people who suggest new things are kind of shunned at. They're kind of looked at like, what's wrong with you? You know, so like I gave you the example of like, um, one year someone suggested for Thanksgiving we do a turkey and put the chicken inside of it type of thing. I guess it's a thing, and a lot of people in my family were like, no, no, leave the turkey alone. If you want to have chicken, make chicken. That's fine. Make it separate, but don't mess with the turkey. Okay, same thing. Don't mess with what's being done. Don't mess with what's been tradition we done year after year after year after year, generation and generation. Leave it alone. Don't try to add new things. You're just gonna mess it up. Okay. And the last one is it lowers the standard of living because when you don't embrace change, like technology, for a great example, um, life tends to stay in a particular time, particular era type of thing. Like I give the example, there's some teachers who you've been teaching for 30 years and they're so used to doing packets and book work that they don't like to engage with technology, computers, things like that. So like right now, those teachers are hurting because everything's through, Zoom and uh, electronic devices. So a lot of them are really not liking this because they're so used to pencil, paper, here's a booklet, here's things like that, here's your worksheets. And they don't know how to embrace this. Okay. So they're kind of stuck back how it was and they can't really progress. It's not that they can't, they just don't want to. Okay. And when society, when a town, a village or whatever is like that, they're stuck. They don't want to learn new things, you know. So, like gave the example too of the Amish. These people don't have electricity. They have, you know, um, they've been the same since like 1600s. you know, Horse buggy, things like that. no power tools, you know, everything, clothing, everything stitched by hand, no sewing machines. So, and they've been like that for the last 300 years, or actually longer. So that's what I mean. They're stuck in that time. They don't want to progress. Okay. So here's your next question. Could you live a life like what traditional economy dictates? So basically, kind of again, being stuck in that time, type of thing, no new ideas, no new technology, things like that. Could you live like that? Yes or no, and why? Okay, so pause the video, go ahead and answer the question, but we're moving on in three, two, one. So the next one is command economy. Now here's the thing. This is really associated with like communism. Okay, the needs, goals, and production quotas are set by the government. The government basically controls everything, and stuff like money can be shifted from consumer goods to national defense, no problem. Wherever something needs to get done, it gets it. Okay, and that's one of the pros. Okay, you'll hear a lot of people say, "Oh, there's nothing good about um, communism." Eh, kind of, sort of. But here's the thing: like I said, they can shift the direction of resources in a short amount of time. So let's say, like right now, in hospitals, if doctors, nurses, people like that, they're saying, we don't have enough gloves, masks, things like that. In this type of economy, they will get it like that because they are frontline workers. Same thing with people who are, again, essential workers, things like that. They would get what they need like that, okay, in this type of economy. Um, Another good thing is that everyone has a job. When people have jobs, that means they're gonna um, not be sitting home doing nothing. They won't be, doing crime or anything like that. So everyone has a job, whether it's everything from agriculture to industry, factories, or it could be in shops and stores, things like that. But everyone gets a job. Okay. The last one is that health and public services, they're basically free. And if they're not, they cost you very, very little. Okay. So people who, let's say, get sick, they have a flu or whatever, they can go to the hospital, a clinic or wherever, and get treatment like that. Someone breaks their arm, they can go into the hospital, get that fixed like that. Because the thing is, these guys want you to be healthy because they want you to be working. A sick employee doesn't make things any better. Especially if they go to work sick, they're going to get other people sick. So they try to get them well, whatever they need, because they want them to be working. All right, so now this stuff sounds great, right? It's good on paper. That's the thing. It's good on paper, but in reality, and you're going to see the cons too right now. So the cons, the bad things. First off, it's not designed to meet the needs of the consumers. The average person, the average Joe, like I was saying, the essential workers, yeah, they'll get their gloves, the masks, things like that. But if you and me were to ask, hey, we need gloves and masks, they would probably be like, okay, yeah, if we have some extra, sure, yeah. Are they going to do it? Probably not. Chances are they probably won't, because again, that kind of stuff is for the top people, the essential workers, things like that. The next one is workers are not given the incentive to work hard. Okay, so unless you are skilled in a particular job that you want, chances are you might not get it. Like I give the example, I think I'm a good history teacher. I read history all the time. I got, plenty of books back there, stuff like that, because I'm constantly reading about history and I want to learn as much as possible. But the thing is, there are other people who retain information a lot better than me, or they can explain it better, things like that. So those type of people, they would, be teaching history. Well, me, I would probably be sent to go work at a factory. Is it a job I want? No, no. I'd rather be teaching. But in this type of economy, hey, no, we got someone better, so you go work over here. And let's say I work and, you know, I do really well. I'm working overtime. I'm giving my 110%. All that extra work I'm doing, I don't get a pay raise. I don't get recognition. It's just like it's your job. So there's no incentive to work harder. So like overtime, I know some of you guys who work, you have get overtime. Basically, if you worked overtime, you wouldn't get paid for it. So there's like no incentive to work harder, work better. The next one is any large decisions by companies, factories, things like that, the government basically decides. Okay. So if somebody wants to expand their business, basically the government's like, yes or no. They decide, not the company. All right. Another one is they don't have flexibility. So the small things, let's say you're a manager of a store and you need some resources to help your store out, fix a problem, whatever. The government would be like, well, you fix it, you know, like why kind of us? We're only going to deal with the big things. You deal with the small stuff. Well, we need resources. We need help from you. You can figure it out. You do it. Okay, so big things they take care of, the small things they could care less. And if you need help, you do it yourself. The last one is people with new or unique ideas, they don't really get ahead. So inventors, they don't get ahead. Here in this country, we have things like those, uh, like the ShamWows and the Snuggies and things like that. Those people who made that, they're making millions of dollars right now because people are buying it. Um, in this economy and the type of economy we have, they make money. They do well. But in this type of economy, they would be look like, oh, good job, you invented something cool. That's all you get, just a little clap maybe, you know. So if a person was in this type of economy and they found a cure for cancer, they wouldn't be really recognized. You'd be like, oh, good job. Go ahead, go back to work, you know. Whereas in this country, that person would be, you know, put on TV shows, things like that, given money to, hey, find the cure for Alzheimer's, find the cure for diabetes or whatever. So in this type of economy we have, they would get money to find more cures and things like that. In that economy, they wouldn't even be really recognized. It would be like, well, that's our job. So why don't they get it done? Okay. So here's the thing. Your next question is this: which of the two type of economies do you personally feel is better? Okay, now I had a lot of students when I was teaching the class were telling me like both of them suck. Yeah, I know. I know. It's kind of like you're picking between two urinals, you know. They're both not going to smell that great, but you gotta pick one. So which one do you smells the least bad? Okay. So is it traditional or is it command economy? Okay. So go ahead, write down your answer. Don't forget to put the why. Why did you pick that one? Okay. So pause the video, but we're going to be moving on in three, two, one. So now we've come to the exit ticket. So remember, answer one of these questions. The first one is name one thing that both sides, traditional and command, have in common. So what's something they have in common? Okay. The second question asks, would you justify tradition as a good thing or a bad thing? Is it a good thing to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again? Um, or is that a bad thing? Okay, you tell me, what do you believe? And why do you believe that? Okay, so once you answer this question or one of the two questions, you're done for the class. All right, so hopefully you learned something new. Um, and, you know, that's it. Okay, so I'll see you guys later. You guys take care and be safe.